Hi, my name's Eric Miller and you're watching the All Idiot channel. I'm here to have a little conversation today with a close personal friend of mine and a handsome devil to boot, a guy by the name of Eric Miller. Hi Eric, it's nice to have you here today. Yeah, hi Eric, it's great to be here. Now Eric, I understand that recently you did something that most people would consider to be crazy. Yes! I took my 9mm high-point pistol to a practical shooting match and actually competed with it. Just so everybody out there is clear on this and understand how crazy this is, why don't you tell us a little bit about this pistol? How much did you pay for this gun? Well, it just so happens that I have it right here. I bought it in 2008, brand new, for $135. Dude, you make me sick. That is the biggest and ugliest things I've seen you have your hands on since that time you went out with that one chick. You know the one I'm talking about. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not bring past mistakes into this. Although, I'm afraid that I can see some of the parallels that you're trying to draw here. This also is very chunky, and it makes you want to throw up out of your eyeballs if you stare at it for too long. So, is this thing even accurate? Well, Eric, there's accurate and then there's accurate enough. This gun is the latter. It's a direct blowback pistol, which means that the barrel is pinned to the frame and doesn't move when firing. This is inherently a very accurate pistol design. Also, when I was running the course the other day, I was able to, while standing unsupported, hit human silhouette targets at, I don't know, 15 or 20 yards. And while you're running the course, the adrenaline's going. To me, that's accurate enough. Well, what's the trigger like? Oh, it's disastrous, Eric. It feels like the trigger's made out of concrete. But I was able to go in, take the gun apart, and polish the parts that are rubbing against each other, and that greatly improved the quality of the trigger pull, though it's still not great. And I think that the trigger pull is the major limiting factor on accuracy for this gun. And what do the sights look like? Well, they're pretty good, actually. The rear sight, you can see here, is adjustable left, right, and up and down, and they're also red, while the front sight is yellow. And when you're outdoors, these are really bright and very contrasty. They're very easy to line up really quickly. They could be just a tad larger, but apart from that, I really like them. So it's a 9mm pistol. What's the mag capacity? Well, they're single stack, and I've got 4 of these 8-round magazines, and then I have 1 of these 10-round magazines. I only have 1 of these because it only works reliably with 8 rounds in it. When you put those last 2 rounds, it doesn't feed properly. So, you know, what's the point? Wow, that sounds extra special. Is it even reliable at all? Oh, it's very reliable. There's nothing wrong with the gun itself. It's just that these magazines can be a little hinky. Kinky? Hinky. Kinky? Hinky. Kinky. Dude, are you this stupid on purpose, or were you born that way? Dude, I'm so sharp, children aren't allowed to run with me. Really? Because I thought it was more because of that court order. Touché. Anyway, you kind of have to tinker with these mags to get them to work reliably, usually. Like, for example, if you have the 9mm one, you have to take these little lips here that are at the top of the gun and spread them out just a little bit. And I don't want to take the time to go into, you know, why you need to do that, but just trust me on it. Also, when the mags are brand new, you should keep them loaded for a couple months to relax the springs a bit. That'll help. And also, once the magazine is loaded, you need to slap the mag to make sure that all the rounds are seated properly. And personally, I think that's pretty a lame thing to have to do, but it really does help. So when you came up with this idea of competing in a practical shooting tournament with a gun that costs less than an iPod, were you drunk? Oh man, I was wasted. But in the weeks afterwards, as I was in the hospital recovering from the alcohol poisoning, it still seemed like a good idea. Okay, so we actually have some video of you competing, and we'll come back at the end and talk about how badly you did. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that, actually, because I ran 4 courses that day, and only 2 of them ended up on video through a series of bizarre circumstances, and so that means that you get to miss the one where I was running through the course and I slipped and fell in the mud, and I didn't even shoot myself. Anyway, hey Eric, can we get some ridiculously awesome music to play while I'm shooting? Psh, please, you know it, girlfriend. Shooter ready. Stand by. Oh, hold on. Lost the target. Then unload. Shooter ready. Stand by. Well, that was not as apocalyptically bad as I had originally assumed. How did you score? Well, actually, I placed overall 30th out of 51, and I think I could have done a little bit better than that had I been using my Walther P1 that I normally use. But in my division, which is production, I placed 4th out of 16, which I think was pretty respectable considering I did fall in the mud on that one stage, and I did have those 3 empty mags in my belt on that last one, and I can't believe I did that. So, overall, what would you say about this gun? Well, Eric, I think that this is a lot of gun for the money. You could end up spending twice, maybe even 3 times what I paid for this gun and still end up with something that's worse. You know, just don't expect it to be something more than it is. It's not a SIG or a Walther or an H&K or something really nice like that. It's a cheap gun, and the thing is that cheap guns, as a rule, don't work. The thing about it is that this one does. I mean, that's amazing. Really, I would totally recommend a High Point to any of the people out there. And I'm definitely going to be competing with it again in the future. Well, that's all the time we have for now, and thanks a lot, Eric, for coming in, and I think we can safely say that we won't ever be having you back again. Well, thanks a lot, Eric, and that's great to hear.